The sound of rain against the glass felt heavier that night, almost like the sky was trying to warn her. Lily stood by the window of her small apartment, watching the city lights blur through the storm. Somewhere down there, among the glow and noise, was the man she'd sworn she'd never fall for. Ethan Cole. Her best friend's brother. Her best friend's millionaire brother. The first time she met him, she'd been 19, messy bun, chipped nail polish, carrying boxes into her dorm. He'd shown up in a charcoal suit, sleeves rolled up, smile too confident for his own good. He wasn't supposed to notice her, but he did. And she wasn't supposed to care, but she did. Back then, he was just Ava's older brother, the one who paid tuition bills and sent overpriced coffee machines as gifts. But years changed everything. Ava moved away, their lives drifted apart, and Ethan became the one constant that never left Lily's mind. Tonight, he was coming over. Not as her best friend's brother, but as a man who wanted to talk about something important. And that terrified her more than anything. She tried to fix her hair in the reflection, whispering to herself, "Keep it friendly. Keep it normal. Don't cross the line again." When the doorbell rang, her pulse betrayed her. Ethan stood there, taller than she remembered, rain clinging to his coat, his eyes tired but soft. "Hey," he said quietly. "You look different." She smiled faintly. "So do you." He stepped in, shaking off droplets of rain. "Sorry for showing up unannounced. I've been thinking about a lot of things." Lily's voice trembled. "About Ava?" He hesitated. "About you." The words hit her like thunder, sudden, electric, impossible to ignore. They sat on the couch, silence growing thick between them. She noticed how his hands fidgeted, how he avoided her eyes until finally he asked, "Why did you stop calling?" She swallowed. "Because some lines shouldn't be crossed." Ethan nodded slowly. "And yet, here we are." Her heart screamed against reason. She wanted to tell him everything, that she'd never stopped thinking about him, that her rule had been her only shield. But before she could, his hand brushed against hers, a soft, accidental touch that felt like home. The storm outside roared louder, lightning spilling across the skyline as if the heavens themselves couldn't stay quiet. "Ethan," she whispered, voice trembling, "you can't do this." "I'm not doing anything," he said gently, eyes locked on hers. "You just never told me to stop." Her breath caught. She looked away, at the window, the rain, anywhere but him. "This isn't fair," she murmured. He leaned closer, his voice barely audible. "Love rarely is." In that moment, every promise she'd ever made cracked open. She could hear Ava's laughter echoing in memory, could see the guilt waiting to consume her, but also the warmth of something she'd spent years running from. The air between them changed, fragile, electric, human. She stood abruptly, trying to steady herself. "You should go, Ethan. Before I forget why I asked you not to." He rose too, his voice breaking. "I'll go. But if you think pretending doesn't hurt, you're wrong." And before she could find the strength to answer, he was gone. She closed the door, pressing her back against it as tears slipped down her face. The rain outside softened, almost as if the sky pitied her. "Before we go deeper, tell me, where in the world are you watching from? It's strange how one story about forbidden love can connect strangers across oceans. Drop your city below. I'd love to see how far this one travels." Lily sank to the floor, her heart pounding in the quiet. She'd spent years building walls, and Ethan had torn them down with a single look. She thought she was strong enough to keep her promise. She was wrong. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the blinds like an unwelcome truth. Lily hadn't slept. The echo of Ethan's voice, "If you think pretending doesn't hurt, you're wrong," kept looping in her head. She made coffee just to have something to hold, but her hands still shook. She'd thought distance would heal it. That time and silence would erase the pull between them. But all time had done was turn quiet longing into something that hurt to breathe through. Her phone buzzed. A message. "Ethan, can we meet? One last time." Lily stared at the screen until the words blurred. Every instinct screamed to ignore it, but her heart whispered otherwise. So she typed back, "At the pier." Sunset. The pier had always been their middle ground, public enough to stay safe, quiet enough to let truth spill. She remembered laughing there years ago when Ava had dared her to race Ethan to the end. He'd let her win, of course. That's what he did, gave her victories she didn't earn and glances she wasn't supposed to notice. Now, hours later, she sat on that same bench, ocean wind tangling her hair. The horizon burned gold. When Ethan arrived, the sky seemed to hold its breath. He didn't say hello. Just sat beside her, close but not touching. "I wasn't sure you'd come." "I shouldn't have," she said softly. "But you did." They watched the waves for a long while, neither ready to cross the line that had already blurred. Finally, Ethan spoke. "Do you know what's worse than loving someone you shouldn't?" She looked at him. "What?" "Pretending it never happened." Something broke inside her then. All the restraint, all the rules, they melted under the sound of his voice. Lily whispered, "You were never supposed to see me like that." He turned to her, eyes raw and searching. "Lily, I've only ever seen you like that." Her heart stuttered. She wanted to run, to protect her friendship, her conscience, her fragile world, but instead she stayed still. The sunset painted his face in gold, and for the first time, she stopped trying to fight the beauty of what they were. A seagull cried overhead, and the moment hung there, fragile, suspended. If you were there in that moment, she thought, her pulse trembling, what would you have done? Would you choose the safe thing or the honest one? Be honest, comment your answer below. And if words fail you, just hit like to prove that compassion still matters. Lily blinked back the sting of tears. "I can't do this to Ava," she whispered. "She trusted me." Ethan exhaled, shoulders tense. "And I trusted myself not to feel this way about you. But here we are, breaking our own promises." The words tasted like confession. Painful, pure, irreversible. He reached into his coat pocket and handed her something, a small, folded photograph. It was from years ago, the three of them at the pier, laughing, carefree. On the back, in fading ink, were 4 words, "Some rules are lies." She looked up at him, eyes wide. "Did Ava write this?" He nodded slowly. "She knew. She saw the way I looked at you before I even did." Lily froze, the photo trembling in her hands. "Then why didn't she ever?" "She told me to stay away," Ethan finished quietly. "Said you deserved someone normal. Someone without my family's name, my money, my baggage." Lily felt something twist inside her, part anger, part ache. "You listened." "I tried to." Silence again. The kind that says everything words can't. The tide rolled closer, brushing against the wooden posts beneath their feet. The smell of salt hung in the air, mingling with regret. Lily whispered, "What happens now?" Ethan looked at her, really looked. "Now? You walk away, unless you can't." Her heart cracked open at the honesty in his tone. And for one breath, one dangerous, perfect second, she didn't move. The ocean wind swept her hair across her face as if even nature wanted to hide what came next. She turned toward him slowly. "I can't," she said, voice breaking. The last of the sunlight dipped into the sea, leaving only the sound of waves and 2 people who had finally stopped lying to themselves. That night, Lily sat in her car long after leaving the pier, hands gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. Every word replayed in her mind, every stolen look, every breath they'd shared under the dying sun. By the time she reached home, the guilt had already started whispering. Ava's laughter echoed in her memories, carefree, loyal, the kind of friendship that had carried Lily through heartbreaks and lonely nights. How could she face her now? Her phone buzzed again. A message from Ethan. "Ethan, I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know it was real." Lily didn't reply. She couldn't. Her heart wasn't ready to choose between love and loyalty. She left the phone face down on the counter and stared out the window. The rain had returned, soft, hesitant, almost like the world understood her confusion. She made tea, hoping the warmth would drown her thoughts, but all she could see was the look on Ethan's face when he'd said, "You walk away unless you can't." Her reflection in the glass looked like a stranger, eyes tired, shoulders slumped under invisible weight. "You can't fall for him," she whispered to herself. "You promised." But promises made in fear rarely survive love. The next morning brought no peace. Ava called. "Hey, stranger." Ava's voice was bright, effortless. "Where have you been hiding?" Lily's throat tightened. "Just work. You know how it gets." "Well," Ava continued, "I'm flying home next week. And guess who's driving me from the airport?" Lily froze. "Ethan?" "Yeah. I told him to come too. You'll both be there. It'll be like old times." Lily's heart sank. Old times were safe, innocent. Now, they were landmines. "I can't wait," she lied softly. After the call, she pressed her forehead against the wall, whispering to no one, "This is going to destroy me." She opened a small wooden box on her dresser. Inside were little fragments of her life, a friendship bracelet from Ava, an old concert ticket, and one photo Ethan had secretly taken of her years ago, laughing in the rain. She'd kept it without admitting why. She traced her thumb over it and smiled bitterly. "You never stopped caring, did you?" she murmured. "Some loves aren't loud, they live quietly between what's right and what's real. Have you ever had someone help you when no one else would? Write yes and tell me their name. Maybe gratitude can travel further than we think." Days passed slowly, every hour tightening the rope around her heart. The night before Ava's arrival, Lily stood by her window again, the city alive beneath her. Somewhere out there, Ethan was probably lying awake too. She wondered if he was thinking about her, or trying not to. When her phone buzzed again, she didn't expect his name. But it was him. "Ethan, can we meet before she comes back? Just once. To end it right." Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Logic screamed no. But her heart, that foolish, fragile heart, whispered go. She texted back, "Tomorrow. Same place. The pier again, where everything began, and where it might finally end." The next evening, Lily arrived early. The wind was cold, sharp. The water shimmered with dying light. She felt every second stretch into something unbearable. When Ethan appeared, his eyes were heavy, his voice low. "You shouldn't have come." She smiled sadly. "Neither should you." He took a step closer. "Ava doesn't deserve this secret between us." Lily nodded. "Then maybe this is goodbye." The silence between them ached. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from her face. The touch was brief, trembling. "I wish we'd met another way," he whispered. She blinked back tears. "In another life, maybe." The wind carried her words away, scattering them like broken glass across the sea. The airport smelled like nostalgia, coffee, perfume, and the faint echo of goodbyes. Lily stood by the arrival gate, trying to steady her breathing as travelers flooded through. She hadn't seen Ava in almost 2 years, but that wasn't what made her nervous. It was the man walking beside her, suitcase in hand and eyes that found her instantly. "Ethan!" Ava squealed, running straight into Lily's arms. "Oh my God, you look amazing." Lily forced a smile, hugging tighter than she should have, as if that might hide the storm behind her eyes. "You too. It's been forever." When Ava finally pulled back, she turned to Ethan. "And look who I dragged along." He smiled faintly. "Hey, Lil." Her throat tightened. "Hey." Ava didn't notice the tension. "You two remember each other too well. Let's grab dinner tonight, my treat." Lily nodded, praying her voice wouldn't betray her. "Yeah, sure." Dinner was a slow-motion disaster. Ava talked endlessly, filling every silence with laughter, stories, and plans. Lily tried to keep up, but Ethan's quiet presence beside her kept unraveling her focus. Every time their eyes met, she looked away too quickly. "So," Ava grinned, "anyone special in your life, Lily?" Lily almost choked on her drink. No. Just work, mostly." Ethan's fork paused midair. His expression didn't change, but his eyes did, soft, sad, understanding. Ava rolled her eyes. "You work too much. You need someone who looks at you the way Ethan looks at his stock reports." Ethan smirked slightly. "I doubt that's romantic." "Oh, it is," Ava teased. "Numbers never lie." But people did. Later that night, as Ava unpacked upstairs, Ethan lingered in the kitchen. Lily tried to slip past him, but his voice stopped her. Lily, he whispered, we can't keep pretending. She froze. You promised we'd end it. I tried, he said softly. But seeing you tonight. Don't, she warned, eyes glistening. Please don't say it. He stepped closer anyway. You think I wanted this? To love someone I can't have? Her breath hitched. You don't mean that. I do. I meant every word I never said. The silence between them grew too heavy to hold. For a moment, it felt like the whole world had shrunk to the space between their heartbeats. Now it's your turn, she thought, her pulse trembling. Share one small good thing you did recently. Write it below so others remember that humanity still lives. Your story might light someone's path tonight. Lily stepped back, forcing herself to breathe. Ethan, stop. If Ava finds out. He cut in gently, she'd hate me. But she'd forgive you. Tears burned behind Lily's eyes. That's not true. She trusts me. And you haven't broken that trust yet, he said. But you will, if you keep lying to yourself. His voice cracked at the end, and that was worse than shouting. She'd never seen him this undone, stripped of control, stripped of pride. Before she could answer, Ava's voice echoed from upstairs. Lily? Can you help me with something? Lily blinked, panic flooding her chest. I have to go. Ethan looked down, jaw tight. Go. I'll handle the guilt. She wanted to tell him he wasn't alone in it, but words failed her. So she left, fast, heart pounding, breath shaking as she climbed the stairs. Ava was kneeling by her suitcase, pulling out old photo albums. Remember this, she said, laughing. God, look at us, we were such kids. Lily forced a smile, sitting beside her. Every photo was a dagger of memory. Birthdays, sleepovers, the pier. Then one picture stopped her cold. It was the three of them. Ava had her arm around Lily's shoulder, and Ethan stood behind them, his gaze not on the camera, but on her. On Lily. Her chest constricted. Ava, did you ever think Ethan and I were too close? Ava shrugged, smiling. You too? Please. Ethan doesn't let anyone close. Lily swallowed hard, her fingers tightening on the photo. If only Ava knew how wrong she was. The airport smelled like nostalgia, coffee, perfume, and the faint echo of goodbyes. Lily stood by the arrival gate, trying to steady her breathing as travelers flooded through. She hadn't seen Ava in almost 2 years, but that wasn't what made her nervous. It was the man walking beside her, suitcase in hand and eyes that found her instantly. Ethan. Ava squealed, running straight into Lily's arms. Oh my God, you look amazing. Lily forced a smile, hugging tighter than she should have, as if that might hide the storm behind her eyes. You too. It's been forever. When Ava finally pulled back, she turned to Ethan. And look who I dragged along. He smiled faintly. Hey, Lil. Her throat tightened. Hey. Ava didn't notice the tension. You two remember each other too well. Let's grab dinner tonight, my treat. Lily nodded, praying her voice wouldn't betray her. Yeah, sure. Dinner was a slow-motion disaster. Ava talked endlessly, filling every silence with laughter, stories, and plans. Lily tried to keep up, but Ethan's quiet presence beside her kept unraveling her focus. Every time their eyes met, she looked away too quickly. So, Ava grinned, anyone special in your life, Lily? Lily almost choked on her drink. No. Just work, mostly. Ethan's fork paused midair. His expression didn't change, but his eyes did, soft, sad, understanding. Ava rolled her eyes. You work too much. You need someone who looks at you the way Ethan looks at his stock reports. Ethan smirked slightly. I doubt that's romantic. Oh, it is, Ava teased. Numbers never lie. But people did. Later that night, as Ava unpacked upstairs, Ethan lingered in the kitchen. Lily tried to slip past him, but his voice stopped her. Lily, he whispered, we can't keep pretending. She froze. You promised we'd end it. I tried, he said softly. But seeing you tonight. Don't, she warned, eyes glistening. Please don't say it. He stepped closer anyway. You think I wanted this? To love someone I can't have? Her breath hitched. You don't mean that. I do. I meant every word I never said. The silence between them grew too heavy to hold. For a moment, it felt like the whole world had shrunk to the space between their heartbeats. Now it's your turn, she thought, her pulse trembling. Share one small good thing you did recently. Write it below so others remember that humanity still lives. Your story might light someone's path tonight. Lily stepped back, forcing herself to breathe. Ethan, stop. If Ava finds out. He cut in gently, she'd hate me. But she'd forgive you. Tears burned behind Lily's eyes. That's not true. She trusts me. And you haven't broken that trust yet, he said. But you will, if you keep lying to yourself. His voice cracked at the end, and that was worse than shouting. She'd never seen him this undone, stripped of control, stripped of pride. Before she could answer, Ava's voice echoed from upstairs. Lily? Can you help me with something? Lily blinked, panic flooding her chest. I have to go. Ethan looked down, jaw tight. Go. I'll handle the guilt. She wanted to tell him he wasn't alone in it, but words failed her. So she left, fast, heart pounding, breath shaking as she climbed the stairs. Ava was kneeling by her suitcase, pulling out old photo albums. Remember this, she said, laughing. God, look at us, we were such kids. Lily forced a smile, sitting beside her. Every photo was a dagger of memory. Birthdays, sleepovers, the pier. Then one picture stopped her cold. It was the three of them. Ava had her arm around Lily's shoulder, and Ethan stood behind them, his gaze not on the camera, but on her. On Lily. Her chest constricted. Ava, did you ever think Ethan and I were too close? Ava shrugged, smiling. You too? Please. Ethan doesn't let anyone close. Lily swallowed hard, her fingers tightening on the photo. If only Ava knew how wrong she was. The door slammed behind them, and for a moment, the world outside felt too quiet, as if even the night refused to breathe. Lily stood on the porch, shaking, her heartbeat drowning out everything else. Ethan was beside her, jaw tight, staring into the dark street. Neither of them spoke. There were no words left that could make it right. She hates me, Lily whispered finally. Her voice cracked like glass. Ethan turned to her, his eyes heavy. She doesn't hate you. She's hurt. There's a difference. Lily shook her head, tears streaming freely now. I broke her trust, Ethan. The one person who stood by me when no one else did, I destroyed that. He took a step closer, but she stepped back. Don't, she said quietly. Please, not right now. He stopped, nodding once. Okay. But you shouldn't be alone tonight. I am alone, she said, voice trembling. That's the point. He looked like he wanted to argue but didn't. Instead, he whispered, I'll go. But promise me one thing, don't let this be the end of you. When he left, Lily sank onto the steps, the chill of the concrete seeping into her bones. The wind tugged at her hair, carrying with it fragments of laughter that once filled that house, Ava's laughter. Inside, a light flickered on and off through the curtains. For a moment, she thought Ava might come out. She didn't. Hours later, Lily drove home in silence. The city lights blurred through her tears, and by the time she reached her apartment, dawn had begun to creep over the skyline, soft, pink, indifferent. Her phone buzzed again. Not Ethan. Ava. She hesitated before opening it. Ava, I can't believe you of all people, Lily. I don't even know who you are anymore. Her chest tightened. She typed, erased, retyped, then finally wrote, I'm sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I love you. You're my sister, always. The message stayed unread. Lily curled on the couch, knees to her chest, trying to quiet the ache in her chest. Every memory of Ava, every shared secret, every midnight talk, replayed like punishment. Have you ever faced someone you loved and realized you broke them without meaning to? Type forgive if you could, or never if it would break you too deeply. Days blurred into each other. Ava didn't call. Ethan didn't show up. The silence between all three of them became its own kind of prison. Lily stopped going out. The world outside kept moving, but inside, everything was still, frozen in the moment Ava's voice had cracked. One night, she found herself scrolling through old messages, Ava's birthday wishes, Ethan's late-night jokes, photos of the three of them at the pier. It hurt too much to look and too much to delete. Then, out of nowhere, a knock. She froze. 3 slow taps. When she opened the door, Ethan stood there, disheveled, eyes red, like someone who hadn't slept in days. "Don't send me away," he said softly. "Please." Her throat closed. "Why are you here?" "Because she called me," he said. "Ava. She said she wants to talk. But only if you're there." Lily's breath caught. She wants to see me?" He nodded. "Tomorrow. Noon. At the pier." Her knees almost gave out. The pier, the beginning and the end of everything. She whispered, "Do you think she's going to forgive me?" Ethan's voice was barely a breath. "I don't know. But I think she's finally ready to hear you." Lily closed her eyes, the first hint of hope breaking through the storm in her chest. Tomorrow, everything would either heal, or fall apart for good. The next day arrived with a stillness that felt almost sacred. The sky was pale and open, the kind of morning that carries the weight of things unsaid. Lily stood at the edge of the pier, the wooden planks creaking under her feet, the ocean whispering against the posts below. She had worn the same coat she'd worn the first time she met Ethan there, back when everything had felt safe. Back when rules still existed. Now, she didn't know if she was walking toward healing or another heartbreak. She heard footsteps behind her. Slow, hesitant. When she turned, Ava was there, arms crossed, hair pulled back, eyes swollen but fierce. Ethan followed a few paces behind, but he stopped short, keeping distance like he knew this moment wasn't his. Lily's throat tightened. "Ava!" "Don't," Ava said sharply, her voice trembling. "Just, don't start with apologies." Lily lowered her gaze. "Then what should I start with?" Ava took a deep breath, her voice breaking slightly. "Start with the truth. The whole truth." Lily's eyes filled instantly. "The truth is, I never meant to love him. It wasn't supposed to happen. I fought it every day because I couldn't stand the thought of losing you." Ava's lip quivered, but she didn't speak. Lily continued, voice shaking. "I kept it buried until it broke me. And when it finally came out, I thought I'd lose you forever. I still might. But I need you to know that you were never second in my heart. You're my home, Ava." For a long time, Ava just stood there, breathing hard, eyes glistening. "Do you have any idea what it felt like?" she whispered. "To look at both of you and realize I didn't even recognize the people I loved most." Lily's tears fell freely now. "Every day since that night, I've hated myself for it." Ava looked out toward the ocean, her voice quieter. "I hated you too. For a while. But I hated him more." Ethan's head dropped. He didn't defend himself. Ava turned to him. "You could have had anyone, Ethan. Anyone. Why her?" He met her gaze with quiet honesty. "Because she saw me before the money, before the pressure, before everything that made me someone else. She made me feel like I was worth something real." The words hung between them like salt in the air, raw, unfiltered truth. For a moment, no one spoke. Seagulls cried overhead, waves whispered against the posts, and Lily felt her heart finally steady. If you believe love still wins, comment amen. Let's fill this section with hope, maybe someone scrolling right now needs to see it. Ava exhaled shakily. "You both hurt me more than I thought possible," she said finally. "But, maybe I needed to hear that. To see that it wasn't betrayal for the sake of it. It was human." Lily blinked, not trusting her voice. "Does that mean?" Ava interrupted softly. "It means I don't know yet. But I don't want to lose my best friend and my brother to silence." Lily stepped closer, hope trembling like light on water. "Then maybe this is our start." Ava hesitated, then opened her arms. It wasn't full forgiveness, not yet, but it was something real. Lily fell into her embrace, crying into her shoulder. Ethan turned away, wiping at his eyes. "You two always find your way back," he murmured. Ava glanced at him, a faint smile breaking through. "Don't think this means you're off the hook." He let out a breath that sounded half like a laugh, half like relief. "Wouldn't dream of it." The wind picked up, carrying away the heaviness that had bound them for too long. The three of them stood together, fragile but whole in their own way. Lily looked out at the sea, the same place that had witnessed their beginning, their downfall, and now, their fragile redemption.